All right, good morning, everyone. It's David Feeks from the Parents Estate Planning Law Firm in Acton. Welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. We do this pretty much monthly. And this month I wanted to talk, ultimately I want to talk about uncertainty, but first I want to recognize that this week is back to school week and that in Stowe, the town where Paul and I live, and in Acton, where our office is located, kids are going back to school on Monday and really all this week as I've been driving into work. I've been passing kids with their parents in backpacks. There's a lot of walkable schools in Acton, so I'm watching a lot of kids walking to school. The buses are running through our home neighborhood in Stowe again. And just a couple of weeks ago, really about 10 days ago, Paul and I took our youngest daughter, Sadie, down to her junior year at James Madison University in Virginia. So we had about a 9-hour drive down, staying overnight for a couple of nights, getting Sadie loaded into her apartment with her new apartment mates, and then hauling back essentially during Hurricane Henri, which was not as bad as they had originally imagined it, but it was a rainy drive back that Sunday. And kind of what's been going on this week with back to school and taking Sadie back to college has just been reminding me that times that we would ordinarily think of as very certain and kind of traditional and expected, back to college, back to school, meet your professors, meet your new teachers, see who's in your class. You know, school starts on either the Wednesday before Labor Day or the Wednesday after Labor Day. That really this year still there's a high level of uncertainty around all of that and around a lot of things in the world. I think when we started the summer, a lot of us were thinking, okay, things are starting to get back to something resembling normal. That certainly here in the Northeast, vaccination rates are very high. Certainly in Massachusetts, vaccination rates are very high. We're moving around without masks, and that by the time school starts, yes, kids may be wearing masks because they may not be able to be vaccinated, but things are going to start to look more normal. And I think what a lot of us have recognized over the last few weeks or the last month with the spread of the Delta variant is that things are still uncertain in many ways. Paul and I just canceled a trip that we were going to take for work because we just didn't feel comfortable traveling, and certainly didn't feel comfortable traveling to Florida right now. So I wanted to talk about that uncertainty. And I know at some level, people have either gotten used to uncertainty and have gotten sort of comfortable being uncomfortable with the way the world is and has been operating for the last 18 months. And for a lot of people, they just can't get used to or are uncomfortable dealing with that level of uncertainty that keeps kind of waxing and waning, rising and falling. And sometimes it feels like things are getting better, and sometimes it feels like things are not getting better or aren't getting better as quickly as we would like. So I wanted to kind of touch on that idea of fear and uncertainty. And what I learned about fear is that there are basically three innate human responses to fear: the response to freeze, the response to fight, or the response to flee. And when it comes to taking care of yourself, when it comes to taking care of your family, certainly, freezing and fleeing, and I would argue fighting, are not the really good responses to that. Certainly freezing is not a good response to, I'm uncertain, I don't know what's going to happen to my family, given circumstances and things that might happen. Fleeing from even thinking about it certainly doesn't seem like the right response, but sometimes it's just a natural response, even if it's not the best response, because it's the response that's built into our DNA and our evolution to keep us safe. Once upon a time, when we lived in caves, if we came face to face with a tiger or something dangerous outside the cave, we could freeze and hope that that danger passed. We could flee that danger, or I guess we could stand our ground and try to fight that danger. But those responses don't always serve us well in a modern environment. So when we think about that in the context of planning for your family, whether it's estate planning for you, whether it's thinking about who you want to take care of your kids if something happens to you, whether it's just about making sure that your adult children who are going off to college are protected if they get sick and need someone to step in and take care of them, that I recognize that sometimes in a period of uncertainty, the inclination is to stay put, to freeze or to flee. And again, as I said, neither one of those responses are terribly productive in making sure that things are better for your family in the future, that things are better for your minor children, that things are better for your adult children. One of the things when Paul and I were dropping off Sadie and what Sadie recognized is that even though things were better going back to school this year, certainly than they were last year. Last year, almost as soon as she was back on campus, there was a COVID outbreak, and JMU basically had to go virtual for the first month. So this year it seems better, but there is still a mask mandate for the first month. The school wanting to make sure that everybody, there's a vaccination requirement, but making sure that there's no outbreaks. So, obviously making sure that there's a good plan in place and keeping everybody protected. If you have adult children and you've sent them back to school, or even if they're out of school, one of the things you want to be thinking about and helping them to think about is what happens if they get sick and they do need someone to step in and help them, to either make medical decisions for them or to make legal or financial decisions for them, and then help them to craft a plan that they can put in place right now so that if they were to get sick and they needed someone to step in and help them, someone would be able to do that right away without needing to go to court and get court approval to do those things, which is always time consuming and can be expensive. And as I always say to clients and prospective clients, sometimes decisions need to be made right now, and they can't wait for a probate court to issue orders or court guidance on how that's all going to happen. Better to have the plan and not need it than need the plan and not have it. So for any of you that listen to this, if you have adult children, young adult children, either in college or just out of school, that would be a really important piece to make sure that they've got a healthcare proxy, they've got a HIPAA authorization, they've got a durable power of attorney in place so that someone can step in and help them in an emergency. And then for parents, it's making sure, yes, that you have that level of incapacity plan in place for yourself. If you get sick and you need someone to step in and make decisions for you, and then making sure that the other things that you care about are protected as well. Certainly if you have minor children, the number one thing parents with young kids should be thinking about is, how do I protect my kids? How do I make sure that the people I know and trust will be able to step right in and take care of them if I'm not there or we're not there to take care of our kids ourselves? And also making sure that there is a good plan around your assets, especially if you have minor children, but this is applicable obviously to empty nesters as well, to make sure that your family will have immediate or near immediate access to those assets so that they can do the things that need to be done for your children, to make sure that daycare continues to get paid for and the mortgage continues to get paid and there's oil in the oil tank and the electric gets paid, and all of the kinds of things that need to kind of continue on seamlessly. If there is an emergency, make sure that there's a good plan in place so all of those things can happen seamlessly if there's an emergency. And all of that can be accomplished through really good planning, a really good estate planning. It's just a matter of finding the right person who can help you. It's something that I really don't recommend you go and do it yourself, because the chances of making mistakes are just too great, and those mistakes can be catastrophic if something happens to you and you don't have the right plan in place. So if you've got no plan, step one would be get a plan. If you've got a plan for you, step one is to review your plan and make sure it still works the way you need and want it to, based on circumstances that may have changed since you put that plan into place. If you've got a 10-year-old plan and you put that plan in place when your kids were still minors and now your kids are young adults, that plan may need to look very different now. So if you've got an existing plan, at least pull it out and take a look at it and make sure that that plan still works the way you need and want it to, given everything that's happened since you put that plan in place. Either way, we are always here as a resource for you. If you've got no plan, we can talk to you about where you are right now, where you want to be instead, and how you can get there, and how we can guide you along that path of getting from where you are to where you want to be. If you've already got a plan, one of the things we do for people who already have a plan is we help them to review the plan and kind of point out, okay, here's what's going to happen with this existing plan in place. Is that still good for you, or do you need different things, or do you want different outcomes? And if you need and want different outcomes, then we're here to guide you from where you are with your current plan to where you want to be instead, and basically showing you the path to get there. But again, either way, if you're creating a plan for the very first time, or if you need to update a plan, we are here as a resource for you. If you would like to talk with us more about getting a plan in place or updating an existing plan, you can do that very simply by calling the office. Our phone number in the office is 978-263-6900, and you can talk with our client services coordinator, Lori Darling. Lori can talk to you, explain a little bit about who we are, how we work, why we do what we do day in and day out, and see if we're a good fit for each other, if we can help you, and if we're the right people to help you. And if so, then Lori can help you to schedule an appointment, and we can, again, walk you through, here's where you are, where do you want to be instead, and how can we help you to get there. So again, call the office, 978-263-6900. If you have any questions or have a comment, you can leave it in the comments below, and we will answer any questions that fall in there and respond to any comments if they obviously warrant a response. We're not above you just dropping a quick hello in there too, and we'll hello you back. But we're here to help you if we can, and we'd love to talk to you. Again, one more time, 978-263-6900. If you did send kids back to school this week, congratulations. You have a somewhat empty house now, and I know that at least my daughter has had a very, very successful start to her junior year in college, and I hope all the same for you, that whether your kids are starting out in kindergarten or they're seniors in high school or anywhere in between, that they have a very successful, happy, productive year in school. And I look forward to talking to you real soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great day, and enjoy the Labor Day weekend. Take care.